Cold has a way of cutting through history and time alike. 500 years ago, winter wasn't a mood, it was a threat. Frostbitten fingers, damp stone walls, breath hanging thick in the air. And yet, tucked into humble homes and makeshift shelters, people found a way to bend heat to their will using almost nothing. No wires, no engines, just clay, fire, and a sharp understanding of how warmth really works. This isn't folk magic or internet gimmickry. This is a method tested by centuries of survival, a quiet, stubborn trick that kept families alive long before electricity ever hummed through a wall. Long before cast iron stoves became common, clay ruled the hearth. Thick, heavy, and slow to cool, clay was everywhere. Pots, tiles, ovens, storage jars. Somewhere along the way, people realized clay didn't just hold food. It held heat, and once heated, it refused to let go too quickly. The clay pot heater emerged from this insight. A simple vessel turned upside down over a small flame. At first glance, it looks unimpressive. But spend a night in a cold room with one, and you understand why it survived for generations. So here's how it works. The pot actually traps the heat from a candle, an oil lamp, or even some glowing charcoal. Instead of all that hot air just rushing straight up and disappearing, the clay absorbs that energy. The walls warm up slowly, and then they start to radiate heat back into the room, long after the flame itself has faded. It really wasn't about brute force. It was about, well, patience. The real genius of the clay pot heater lies in something called thermal mass. Air heats up fast and cools down fast. But clay, on the other hand, heats slowly and cools slowly. And honestly, that difference changes everything. When a flame burns in open air, most of the heat just vanishes into the ceiling. But when it burns beneath a clay shell, the energy actually gets stored. The pot becomes, in a way, a battery for warmth. If you touch it after an hour, you'll feel this steady, deep heat instead of those sharp, uneven bursts. Historical accounts describe, small rooms staying warm for hours using nothing more than a single candle or maybe just a handful of charcoal. Not blazing hot, comfortable, survivable, just enough to keep hands working, breath steady, and sleep possible. This wasn't accidental. It was learned through lived experience, cold nights, and, well, trial by winter. People rarely stopped at the simplest version. Over time, you see, designs evolved. One pot became two, a smaller inner pot surrounded by a larger outer shell. The space between them filled with sand or fine ash. This layering slowed heat loss even more. The inner pot held the flame. The outer pot spread the warmth wider and steadier. Sand acted as insulation and stabilizer, preventing sudden temperature spikes and cracking. Some designs use small holes near the top to allow airflow. Others suspended the inner pot on metal rods to keep the flame centered. These weren't decorations. They were refinements born from necessity. Every adjustment aimed at the same goal: more warmth, less fuel. So the clay pot heater didn't just blast hot air in one direction. It worked quietly, almost invisibly. Heat radiated outward from the clay surface, warming nearby objects first: tables, floors, and walls. Those objects then released heat back into the space. At the same time, gentle convection occurred. Warm air rose slowly around the pot, drifted across the room, cooled, and then sank again. There was no roaring fire, no sparks, and no smoke-choked ceiling. In small cabins, workshops, and stone rooms, this really made a difference. The heat felt even, stable, and honestly, less exhausting than tending an open flame all night. In a world where fuel was precious, efficiency meant survival. This wasn't a regional trick. Versions of the clay pot heater appeared across medieval Europe, the Middle East, and parts of Asia. Different fuels were used depending on what was available. Beeswax candles in one place, animal fat lamps in another, charcoal discs or embers elsewhere. The materials changed, the principle stayed the same. Clay was cheap. Fire was dangerous if mishandled. Combining the two thoughtfully gave people control over warmth without risking their shelter or burning through supplies. It's no coincidence that similar designs appear wherever winters were harsh and resources limited. Good ideas travel, even without written manuals. The beauty of this method is that it never required rare tools. Thick terracotta pots still work today. Any fire-resistant ceramic with decent mass can do the job. So, a small flame sits on a heat-safe base. The pot is placed upside down over it, leaving enough space at the bottom for oxygen to feed the flame. If you're using charcoal or oil, ventilation becomes, really critical. Ancient users understood this instinctively, but modern users need to remember it deliberately. Layered designs can still be made using sand or fine gravel between pots. The goal remains steady heat, not intensity. This is a slow burn solution, not a blast furnace. Used carefully, it provides hours of warmth using a fraction of the fuel demanded by modern electric heaters. The clay pot heater isn't just about staying warm. It's really about understanding energy. It shows us how materials matter and how, shape changes behavior. Sometimes slowing things down can actually be more powerful than speeding them up. Ancient people weren't guessing. They were observing, learning what worked, and, refining it across generations. Engineers still rely on these same principles today, just wrapped in modern casing. For off-grid living, emergency preparedness, or simply appreciating historical ingenuity, this method stands tall. It reminds us that some of the smartest solutions were born long before screens and switches. 500 years later, the lesson remains the same. Heat doesn't need complexity, it needs understanding. And sometimes the quietest fire is the one that lasts the longest.